Alright, hello everyone and welcome. DSP here. It is Tuesday, September 29th, 2015. We are wrapping up the month of September 2015 with two new games today. Yeah, it's a new release week, new release day. It's a weird week. It really is a very bizarre week. In regards to the games that are coming out, there's really three major releases this week. There's the game we're about to start right now, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. Talk about a blast from the past. The Pro Skater series has been out since the 1990s. I actually played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. I never owned them, but I rented them and played them. And I haven't played a Tony Hawk game since then. I know that there was Pro Skater 3, 4. I guess there were other games like Project 8 and Wasteland and stuff like that. Never played those. So this franchise is returning after quite the long hiatus. Then later tonight we're going to have the premiere of NBA 2K16 starring a Spike Lee joint, which means that basically Spike Lee wrote the campaign of the game, and that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Those are the two game releases that I'm playing this week. Now there is another major release this week, Lego Dimensions, and I actually saw it at GameStop, and just to be curious, I kind of looked into it, and apparently, I guess, in order to actually get, like, a decent gameplay experience with that game, you have to spend, like, $150 or something insane, because it's just like those Skylanders games, it's just like Disney Infinity, where when you buy it, you also have to buy, Lego accessories and shit in order to unlock other stuff that's already in the game, technically. So, basically, it's a huge ripoff. It's too bad, unfortunately, that it seems like an interesting premise, right? Combining all those Lego universes. You've got Back to the Future and Star Wars and Marvel and Batman and, all these crazy things that are all combining in the game. And unfortunately, the game's a ripoff and I'm not playing it. So I'm not doing it. Normally if it was a new Lego game and it looked interesting, I probably would have gotten it. But I'm not going to jump into the bandwagon of, you need to buy a Lego game that has 500 add-ons, you need to purchase separately, figurines and shit that you don't need in order to unlock content that's already in the game, because people fall for this trap. It's a financial trap, it really is. And so I decided not to get it. It's a shame, because if it was not like that, I probably would have gotten it. You know what I mean? People are saying, has Doctor Who and Ghostbusters. Yeah, but sorry, it's not worth $150. It's a ripoff. So I didn't get that. This week we'll be focusing on Tony Hawk and NBA 2K16. Okay? And later this week, on Thursday, we'll have a new episode of Ask the King, which is my Q&A show. So I hope that you'll submit your questions on my forums on thekingofhate.com. There's already been a thread there for over a month because I didn't do one last month because I was sick. So it's going to be a big show this Thursday. This Friday, we've got an Indies mini marathon, where I'm going to play at least 3 to 4 indie games on a marathon stream. That's going to be fun. So we've got a jam-packed week full of new stuff. Excuse me. I hope that you'll enjoy. I hope that you've been enjoying this past week how I finished up 4 games last week. I finished up Fallout New Vegas, Metal Gear Solid 5, Mad Max, and Soma. I take it back. I finished 5 games because I also finished The Godfather. So I finished 5 games this past week, and I did 4 reviews. I know, it's rare when I do a review these days because I'm so busy. I did 4 game reviews. So, crazy overload of that kind of content. Now it's time to settle back into a daily double schedule of streaming. So right now, Tony Hawk, tonight NBA, tomorrow we'll flip that, okay? Tomorrow will be NBA on the first stream, and Tony Hawk on the second stream. And then dependent on feedback of what people are liking more, Thursday we'll have one gameplay stream of whatever people are liking more. And then this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be playing both games, and then Monday will be another double stream of both games. So we're going to get a decent taste of both games this week. And then dependent on, obviously, what happens after that, we'll see if I want to continue them throughout October, because this next week, we've got a lot of games, too. We've got Transformers Devastation. We've got the Metal Gear Solid Online, and supposedly there may be an episodic game coming out, so 3 things there to play, and I might balance in more Tony Hawk or more NBA if people want to see them next week, okay? So, thanks for being here, everyone. Looks like we already got pretty decent attendance, and I haven't even started with the game yet, so that's a good sign, right? People are excited because this game apparently is a glitchy mess. I kid you not, ladies and gents, this game is apparently a terrible glitchy mess. People are saying that, number one, the game just, like, bugs out all the time. Number two, the game, if you can believe this, the game has a day one patch that's 8 gigabytes. It's actually twice the size of the game that's on the disc. If you just buy this game on disc and you don't have an internet connection, all you can play is the tutorial. You could build your own skate park, and there's like 1 or 2 levels, and that's it. The majority of the game was a downloadable patch, so if you don't have an internet connection, this game is basically worthless. Pretty crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. And I think this is the route that, you know, most people are going to take. I think that most people are going to, or not most people, most game devs, they're going to have this initial content on the disc, and that's it, and everything else is going to be digital. I would say give it 2-3 years, and I think primarily all games are going to be digital only. I've been doing digital only for a lot of games this year. A lot of high-profile releases like Batman, I actually got digital only. And it was good because I was able to get the game early. I guess it comes at 9 p.m. my time because I live on the West Coast, so it's 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm able to do a special stream. I don't have to go to the store to pick up the game. It's a huge asset. However, keep in mind you need to have a good internet connection. So if you don't have a good internet connection, you know, you're kind of boned. So that's the route we're going, I think. I think that Microsoft with the Xbox One a couple of years ago actually had the right idea. Remember they said everything's going to be digital, you can't trade in your games, etc. I think that's going to be the route everything's going to go. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's going to be good for some people, bad for others, I'm sure. A mixed bag. It's certainly going to be a mixed bag, because let me give you some perspective. When I went to GameStop this morning to pick up today's games, I traded in a ton of games, including, I guess I should mention it, I traded in Splatoon, I traded in Mortal Kombat 10, because I'm done with that game at this point. I have no desire to play it again, even if they do a Season 2. I don't care. I traded it in. I traded in a couple Nintendo 3DS games I'm never going to play, like Bravely Default and that new Yoshi's Island or whatever it was. I traded those in. Leanna had a couple games to trade in, so I traded in her copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox 360 and also her copy of Batman Arkham Knight, which she had a physical copy of. I ended up, with my trade-ins, making more money than what these games are worth. So I ended up like getting a credit of $50 or something like that. It was, you know, some of the games were worth like $35, which is pretty crazy. So there's perspective there. When everything goes fully digital, you won't be able to trade games in anymore. And just look at that credit I just got. Seriously. Huge credit. You know, I didn't have to spend any money today for this week's new releases, and that's awesome, but that's going to go away in my opinion. I think give it a few years, game devs aren't going to want to do physical copies anymore. They're going to say it's too expensive to have to print out these games, you know, physical copies, and they're going to want to just go digital. And it's an excuse for them, too. They can say, oh, well, the game's coming out, you know, on the 5th. Well, we can actually develop the game up to like 2 weeks beforehand, and then we could just, you know, release it digitally versus having to print the game out 2 months ahead of time, which is what the thing, when they say a game goes gold, it means that they're actually mass producing the game for retail sale. So if the game doesn't have to go gold anymore, that's massive savings for the game developer and publisher, right? And it also allows them to develop longer, you know? I don't know. This game is just such a weird situation where if you buy it, you really don't get any content on the disc. You have to get it all digitally. I'm lucky that I have great internet because I was able to download the 8 gigs in about 30 minutes. Imagine if I had slow internet. I'd be downloading for 5 hours. We wouldn't have been able to do this today, you know? So anyway, ladies and gents, we're about to start with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. Not only so get this. Not only is the game apparently a buggy mess, not only is the majority of the game a digital download, then I opened the game box and I took a few pictures of this earlier. The game box was wrecked. Like all the game box, you know how you have these little plastic pieces that hold your disc in place? They were completely wrecked. They're loose and flailing around the game box. And so the disc was completely loose. It was flying around the case. Luckily it wasn't damaged, at least that I could tell. Then I had a pre-order code from GameStop. Pre-order code, an 80s skater pack. So apparently it's supposed to have either accessories from the 80s or maybe even some extra skaters from like the 1980s. I go to enter the code, invalid code. Code is not valid. So, it's like I'm getting boned on all fronts here. I bought a physical copy of the game that has nothing on the disc. The game box is wrecked. The pre-order code doesn't work, and apparently the game's a buggy mess. So this is going to be interesting. This is definitely going to be interesting. Even if the game sucks, I think we'll still have fun playing it a few times this week, you know? I like to have fun with games even if they're not that good. I think we'll have a good time. Even if I get frustrated, I think I'll make it entertaining for you, okay? So we're about to get started. The only one thing, I'll say, alright, we'll do two quick things. Two quick plugs, and then we'll get started, okay? First plug is for Leanna. My girlfriend Leanna has her own business called The Black Currant. It is a handmade glycerin soap and wax tart melt business. The soaps she makes are amazing. They smell great, and they actually are better for you and clean you better than store-bought soap, because store-bought soaps are actually more detergent than anything else. This is actual soap, and it's a very popular business. She's got almost 100 orders this year so far. Tons of massive positive reviews, and she just launched her new fall line of products, including some more fall, autumn, and wintry scents. I love her stuff. I'm actually washing with one. It's like some apple barrel cider or something soap right now, and I love it. And I've only washed with her soap for the past 2 years, so check it out at The Black Currant. You have to go to etsy.com/shop/The Black Currant. If you are in the stream chat right now, I'm actually going to type a link to it. Spelled The Black Currant, which is TheBlackCurrant. Give it a look. Even if you're not personally interested in, you know, that kind of stuff. Maybe a relative of yours, a friend, your girlfriend, your mom, your aunt, your grandmother, your sister, your nieces. Or, you know, I know that's kind of sexist. You know, dudes like this stuff too. A lot of my viewers, I don't say a lot, but some of my viewers have tried out this stuff and really like it. The wax tart melts in particular are awesome for the autumn because it starts to get cool, right? It starts to get cool, and you want your house to smell good. And instead of burning candles, which can be dangerous because there's an open flame, maybe if you have pets, you're worried about the pet will run into the candle or whatever. Wax tart melts, little wax cubes, you can melt them and it makes your house smell good. They're reusable, they last a long time, and that she makes as well. So check it out, and hopefully you'll enjoy the products, okay? That's one gratuitous plug. Now, my second gratuitous plug is going to be kind of silly. It's my Patreon, patreon.com/DarksidePhil. If you watch today's stream, if you're watching the videos of mine, you really enjoy the content on a daily basis, and you want to go above and beyond. Wow, I really like Phil's content. I want to support him. I want him to be able to do this in the long term. Check out my Patreon page. For small pledges, as small as $1, honestly, you can get some really cool personal perks like getting verbal or text shoutouts, getting your questions answered on my Q&A show, Ask the King, getting a t-shirt, getting a private Q&A video made, lots of stuff that you have opportunity to participate in if you do pledge to my Patreon. Now, the reason I say this is kind of silly is because we've got some assholes this month who are fake pledging to my Patreon, and this is a downfall, a pitfall of Patreon is what I should say. Not downfall, but pitfall. Is that Patreon does not really screen anyone. Meaning anyone could say they're going to pledge, and then they don't pledge. They put in fake info or whatever, and then they don't actually pledge. Right now I've got, I believe, about $1,000, no lie, about $1,000 of fake pledgees on my Patreon account. And they're obviously doing it, you know, just to be dicks and to make it look like I'm making a ton of money when I'm not. So, unfortunately, there's nothing I could do because I don't know who's real and who's not. I'm sure some people who are pledging are legit. The reason that I bring this up is because the big goal for the month of September was to hit $1,250 of funding, and if I did that, I was going to do a special Halloween Games Marathon where patrons who pledge $5 or more can nominate and vote on horror-themed games that I will be playing in a Halloween marathon on Halloween. But, you know, I don't know at this point. You know what I mean? I don't know what we're at. I couldn't even tell you legitimately where we are with the funding because there's so many fake pledgees this month. And this happens. From every month I get a few people. And typically it's a bunch of assholes who do like, I'm going to pledge $100. Wow, and then of course it gets declined, and they laugh, and they think that it's funny. It doesn't really affect me. Unfortunately, all it does is it makes it so that we can't estimate how I'm going to do on Patreon. I would really love to do the Halloween marathon, but I'm only going to do it if I hit the goal. I have to stick to my guns on this, because if I just do a marathon without hitting the goal, that means that the goals are worthless. And so there's nothing to motivate people to pledge. You know what I mean? That's the point of goals on Patreon. We hit a special funding goal, I do a special event as a reward, and that's what this is. So if I hit it, we'll do a special event as a reward. Right now, I have no idea whatsoever where we are with the funding, and there's no way for me to tell. And I apologize for that, but please consider. You have basically 2 days left, today and tomorrow, and that's it. Because then September's over. It's too late to pledge for September. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Check it out, and hopefully we will hit that goal, and I'll be doing some fun Halloween stuff. Okay. All right, so that is it for the pre-stream, everyone. We are getting started with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. I thank you very much for being here on the stream, and thank you for being here, and let's begin, right? Let's begin.